here. Hope you guys liked it. That was my little guy Tyler, my 8-year-old with glasses, who you just caught doing those dance moves. We might have caught the top of Michael's head as he was in and out. That was the best we got. They just came to tell me they had their first duo game of Fortnite and they won a battle royale. So yeah, it's a big day for the Brand Brothers, needless to say. It's a big day. So I don't know, what you don't know about Fortnite is you only play one player at a time. So I hooked up a second system so the boys can finally play again. It only took me 7 weeks in quarantine to get them playing the same game at the same time. Progress, not perfection. That's what I could say.
That's
anyway, right? So a couple of notes. Number one, the call has been a little funky time-wise, which is obviously affecting our numbers because of the bold change. So now with bold pivot, this is our last 2 p.m. call. This is our last 2 p.m. call. We are pivoting. Get it? We are pivoting. I know, Vanessa, you almost spit the water in your mouth. That was so funny. You can help yourself, right? This is the best my jokes get today. So
you're doing great, Michael.
Hey, thanks. This is unscripted. Can you tell? So we are pivoting to Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 1. So again, from what I can tell, Bold is pretty much almost every day at 2. They have something going on. So I'm moving away from our 2 o'clock time frame. So if you know anybody that's been on the calls, make sure you spread the word that we're moving to 1 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we'll look to get some information out there. Again, this Friday is Brandon Steiner of Steiner Sports talking about how to build relationships, and he'll actually be sharing how he built his relationship with Derek Jeter during his early years in order to foster that long-time relationship with both Derek Jeter and the New York Yankees. We've got Cecil Fielder, also former Major League Baseball player, on Monday, and next Thursday for Red Day, some more information out there on Red Day at different times. We're doing interviews with Brian Cashman, general manager of the New York Yankees, as well as Mariano Rivera, Hall of Fame reliever for the New York Yankees. So keep your eye out on some of those things. And obviously, we're still filling with real estate people as well. We just want to bring some different information in there for you. So today, I'm super excited. We've got one of my favorite people in the world. If you haven't seen Vanessa, you're in for a treat. If you've been to Family Reunion, you've probably seen Vanessa on stage at the cultural summits at Family Reunion and Mega Camp. She's been co-presenting with Mo Anderson and Kay Evans the last 2 years. And she's a big part of our world, especially the cultural side of our world. Vanessa, give us a quick, for those of you that don't know you, because we got some people from a couple of different states here, give us a picture of your team, how many people, how much volume, give us a little background on your team production.
Well, thank you so much for having me here today, and thanks everybody for tuning in. It's what an honor to be here with all of you. Our team is here in northern New Jersey, and we serve an average of about 100 families a year. There are 12 of us in our organization. And yeah, we've been on the ride of our lives for the last few weeks, months, and years, indeed.
I just want to stop you for a second. Did you catch that? Did you catch what she said? She didn't say she sells 100 homes a year. She used the term she services about 100 families a year.
That's right.
And in this, we're going to be talking about culture. And part of building a great culture is having your own language. I'm a Disney guy. Disney doesn't have employees and customers. They have guests and cast members.
That's right.
Keller Williams has our language. So again, you use the term servicing families as opposed to selling houses.
Absolutely. Well, we don't believe we're in sales, Michael. We believe we're in service.
Yeah.
And when we put people first, then success follows, both for those people and for our organization. And yes, sales ultimately happen, but we lead with service at the forefront.
Well, it's kind of like what Gary said years ago when he first founded this company. If you take care of your people will take care of you.
That's right.
So it's all about that win-win. So we're going to talk quite a bit about the cultural side of the business. But before we go there, tell me a little bit about what you guys have had to do in the last 5 to 6, 7 weeks in order to pivot to what we're currently calling our new norm. And for those of you that have teams, this is an important discussion because I think a lot of teams have stumbled a little bit with adjusting to how they're supporting their team members. So I think what you've been doing is very crucial information.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was blessed with the opportunity to experience buying and selling a home in the midst of COVID-19 myself. We closed on a new home on March 3rd, and we moved into it on March 21st, which was the day that New Jersey was put into shelter in place.
Yeah.
So I moved my family of 5 on a Saturday, shelter in place, and into a home that we're in the midst of a 3-month renovation. So we're social distance renovating on top of all of this.
And it's so easy to get contractors in for renovations when you're in this environment we're in.
I'm very grateful for the team that are working with us right now. But that was a Saturday, and on Saturday I reached out to the team and I said, Monday morning, 9 a.m. Zoom huddle, Monday through Friday, effective immediately until further notice.
Awesome.
And I don't know that I was that clear about it at the time because everything was so messy. But in hindsight, I think that's kind of how maybe it came out. But we were all on the huddle Monday morning on Zoom, and I knew that every day was going to be like a week, and every week was going to be like a month in terms of new information being delivered to us. And that if we didn't come together as an organization and learn from each other every single day how we were tackling these issues, we would not get through it. And so within that first week, we pivoted our entire marketing plan to a digital marketing plan. We took all of our print collateral digital. We took every question that was being asked of our listing and thought, where do we need to put that answer digitally so that nobody has to ask that question? Ceiling height, seller close date, how old are the mechanicals? Seller's disclosure, video tour, all of it. And so we quickly, within the first week, created, am I allowed to share my screen?
Oh, definitely. Emily, she has permission, correct? Go for it. If
okay.
Not, you will.
Yeah, by the end of that first week, we had created this digital brochure. And within it, we had a lot of the elements that we used to have. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. That included our video tour, but then we also quickly included a Zoom recorded seller interview.
Nice, that's a nice touch.
Shortly thereafter, when we launched our Zoom open houses, we obviously recorded that, uploaded it to YouTube. That now lives on the digital brochure.
So give me an idea, what do you look to accomplish? I think this interview with the seller is really interesting to put as part of your marketing campaign.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you talk about in that conversation?
Really, it's about the neighborhood,
okay,
the schools, the commute, the location, what attracted them to the house, what their favorite features are.
Well, it's kind of interesting because as realtors, us talking about the neighborhood or the schools can be a little risky.
Well, and I will tell you, 10 years ago, that's why I started using the letter to the future homeowner, because I would tell my sellers, you're allowed to say these things, I'm not.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah, so we just took it to the next level with the video interview now, knowing that people were craving more video content than ever.
Hey guys, make a point to notice the URL at the top. If you want to, and Emily can take that and put that in the chat box as well. If you want to take a look at visiting this listing and seeing what that interview looks like,
yeah.
26 Essex Road is part of that URL. So
yeah, pollockhomes.com. I didn't own that before the last week of March. Our organization is Pollock Properties Group, but I knew that the digital brochure needed to be more robust and better than what my current blog and website was doing. So we immediately launched through Squarespace this new website, pollockhomes.com, and each page is a listing with its own digital brochure. And I just want to show you quickly, you'll go to the very bottom, and sorry if I'm making people motion sick because I now get motion sick on Zoom calls. You'll see the seller disclosure. We've got pictures of the mechanicals. You can schedule a viewing and then you can link to the full listing. But look, like the mechanical photos, it's ugly, you guys. Like, none of this is pretty, but this is the information that we've got to give the buyers in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, in Florida, in Kansas, wherever they're moving from. This is the level of visual information that we need to be giving them.
This is the stuff that they're going to look at in the home inspection. This is the stuff that some buyers will look at during the viewing. So
that's right.
That's a great point.
And what I'll say, Michael, is part of this had to do, I'm trying to stop sharing and I'm
up at the top, whatever screen you're on.
Yes, thank you.
There you go.
Here, part of this is because I truly need to take care of people and keep them safe.
Right.
So we also at the same time put out our showing rules to the general public, to agents, and to the community, and said, unless you've reviewed every single detail of that new digital brochure that has all of that information, I'm sorry, but I can't let you into the house. Right? So
again, it's a way to pre-qual the showings. Yes. That way we don't have to have 30 people checking through the house. You can take 30 showings into 2 physical.
So what has flip-flopped is before it was how much foot traffic can we get through a house in open houses, and that was the challenge. Now the challenge is how few feet can I get through a house and get multiple offers. Yeah. I'm not kidding. We put a house on the market 10 days ago, and within 8 hours, we had an over asking price offer sight unseen on the listing based on the digital brochure.
Wow. Now, did they make that offer contingent upon physically seeing the house? Did they have
They didn't, but I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I immediately said, I'm so grateful for how serious they are about this house. Can they please come and see it tomorrow? Yep. I need to know that they love the house in person as much as online before we proceed. Now, just to finish that one transaction, we ended up having 6 showings total, and we got 3 offers.
Wow.
In one weekend. And by Sunday night, we stopped showings. They'd only had those 6 sets of feet through the house. They had 3 amazing offers to choose from, and we got into attorney review on Monday.
They came back through, sanitized the house, spray everything down, wiped it down, good to go.
That's right. So now the challenge for me is, can I get you multiple offers with very few feet?
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
So you pivoted to the digital brochure, the digital showings. And how many listings have you been able to put on in the last 6 or 7 weeks during this odd time?
Oh, I want to say it's been 3 or 4. And we've got another 4 or 5 coming in the month of May.
Yep.
So what then started happening were our Zoom listing appointments. So as we continue to communicate to the world that real estate is essential and that we were operating in a really safe way, and communicating the information that we've been getting from you and our region and our market center, showing the data of what we believe to be coming, a lot of sellers have started raising their hands. And this marketing plan, it's in my mind going to stay in place for a long time now.
Yeah, and for those of you in New Jersey, I want to reinforce, we are telling people to start listing homes over the next 2 weeks. We do expect things to open up a lot in June, and we expect there to be a considerable increase in inventory on the market in June. So if you want to get a jump on the post-COVID market, to be up against less competition, you want to get on somewhere between March 15th and 22nd.
May.
If you wait until June, you're going to be competing with a lot more listings.
That's right. Think of it this way, that, if our market was a garden hose and we had a nice steady flow of buyers or the water, COVID-19 came along and put a kink in the hose, right? And as soon as the kink is undone, that buyer flow is going to come gushing out. I think the great unknown right now is what happens after the gush of pent-up water in the hose. Has the spigot been turned off? Is it on a trickle? We don't know. But because we're operating in the market within the market, let's be prepared for that gush because it is coming.
Here's the one thing I do know, and you might want to write down the script, everyone. I was talking to another regional director this morning. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 12 to 18 months.
Right.
What I do know is the next 3 to 5 months will be an amazing time to sell a house.
That's right.
And that's because of that great spigot analogy you just did. In the GSMLS, there's about 15,000 homes that should have come on between March 15th and May 15th that didn't.
Right.
So there's going to be a high number of them that are all going to come on during the weeks of June and the first week of July.
That's right. But Michael, I think it's interesting because if the rest of the people on the call are anything like me, they do not want to seem like they're taking advantage of the situation and have it be at all remotely salesy, right? And look, 26% of the assets in America is tied up in the equity of homes. And I consider myself to be a security guard of that equity and of those assets, right? And so when we remind people that we are here to help them protect that equity, and then tie that conversation back to how we're making a difference in the local community and serving through COVID-19, it makes it real easy to make those care calls and be like, hey, here's what we're doing to make a difference. And by the way, my job is to protect your equity. If you want to have a conversation about what that might look like in the next 3 to 6 months, I'm here to talk.
Because we're talking about equity and those things, I just want to point out a quick note for you guys. I got an email from Gary Keller this morning. Keller Mortgage, and he sent this specifically to me because of the fact he says this will help us in New Jersey. Keller Mortgage just partnered with Chase in New Jersey to offer a jumbo mortgage with an 80% LTV. They can go to 3.375.
Wow.
3.375 on a jumbo with an 80% loan to value. So again, keep that in mind, folks. A great opportunity. So let's pivot a little bit.
Okay.
If you're good, are we good talking about?
Absolutely. Yep.
So part of, and we've talked a little bit on our call earlier, keeping people motivated and keep them focused and driven in this market is challenging. And you kind of have an internal drive.
Yeah.
That keeps you moving through all the ups and downs, and that comes back to community. So tell us a little bit about what drives you from helping the people in your community.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. Our business model, Care, Serve, Give, has been the fuel and the drive behind our business for many, many years now. And so that's our past, our present, and our future in terms of how we're doing business. For many, many years now, I've been really, really thoughtful about what is the higher purpose of my business, right? And call it your big why, call it, motivation, but really what makes you want to get up and go to work every day? And then when you know what that higher purpose is, how can it fuel action in your real estate business and in your life? And then what impact might that have in your business? And so, my journey to build my business, really, I always knew that I had to stay completely focused on service, not sales, right? Like we said at the beginning, put people first and success will follow.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had first joined Keller Williams, I was really, really fortunate to have a private one-on-one meeting with Mo Anderson. And she laid out a roadmap for me because I told her, I said, I want to be a light in a dark business world, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that best, right? And how to harness my drive in a way that feels meaningful. And I'll tell you what she told me. This was the roadmap that Mo gave me 7 years ago. She said, grow your team to 40 million, be on ALC, lead your culture committee, and read every John Maxwell book.
Simple.
Just that.
Yeah, yeah.
She said, once you've done that, let me know. Well, here's what's interesting. A couple of years later, now I grew the team from like 12, 15 million when I had that conversation. And a couple of years later, I was passing the 40 million mark, and I reached out to her and I said, oh my gosh, here's my aha. It wasn't about the goal. It was about who I've become and the way I've harnessed my drive to make a difference in the local community through the business that you wanted me to learn along the way, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Because it's really never about the goal, is it, guys? It's about who we become in the pursuit of it. And so that growth developed into Care, Serve, Give, which is why we call them families and served rather than units, right?
Yeah, yep. Not units, not homes, not selling. It's servicing families.
Exactly, exactly. And so as I dove deeper and deeper into this business model, I realized I don't need to invent anything. I just got to follow the models and the systems, right? So I've got, the model in the MREA book. I've got my book of faith, and I've got the model of our culture, right? So if I take all of those things and I put them together, it created a formula for me that now I operate by. And I'm just going to share that with you, if I may, on my screen, because I think that this might be helpful to some people. Is it okay if I dive into this?
Yep. Sorry if you got feedback. I just went to your website, Care Serve Give, and I realized it would talk as soon as I went to it. So
Yeah, you've got the Vanessa talking head.
I tried to turn off my volume real quick. I was like, oh, I don't know if you heard that or not.
I didn't. Yep, I didn't. But this is what I want to talk about with the time we have here today. Yeah. This is the formula that I'm living my life and business through right now. Purpose plus action equals profit, which yields giving.
Awesome.
Right? So let's talk about purpose. And because purpose sometimes feels daunting, but do not let this idea of discovering the higher purpose of your business be daunting. Don't let it paralyze you. This wonderful author, Friedrich Buechner, there's a quote where he says that your calling is where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. And I love that idea. And yet, how do we get there? How do we figure out the higher purpose and how we're going to make a difference in the world, how we're going to serve our community? And after we go through this, I'll tell you how we're doing it. But I want to help you guys think about this. First of all, write this down. What is your superpower? Oh, my Google number is ringing. You hear that? I'm sorry.
I did not. You're good.
Okay, good. We're very busy here at Pollock Properties Group. So what is your superpower? I want you to really think about what is the gift and talent that your creator has given you, that you are just innately awesome at, right? Now, I did say your creator, so I want to take just a second and go back to remember the core values of Keller Williams, right? Are God, family, then business. Now, let's talk about that for 1 second. The beautiful thing about our company is that I believe every single world religion is represented within our company. Mm-hmm. And what's so amazing is that this company loves every single associate, and every single belief and associate has full equality. And so God Family Business is not about what you believe, it's that you put your faith first, whatever your faith may be, okay? This is about a prioritization of your life. When you put your faith first and you're truly leaning into your faith, it's at that point that you can say, okay, I'm created. How was I created to thrive? What is the superpower that I was given by my creator? And don't worry, you're not being braggy. Like, this is just who you are. It's how you're wired up, okay? So write that down. Now I want you to think about, how do you want to be thought of? When people think of you, when they think of your business, when they talk about you at a party, which hopefully we get to go to parties again someday, like, how do they think of you? What is that character trait, or what is the thing that they're going to remember you by?
Yeah, when your name pops in their head, what's the visualization they attach to that? That's is it just aggressive realtor, or is it, caring caregiver,
That's right. And then the third part of this formula is what breaks your heart. Now, last year might have been different than what it is right now. And I'm gonna tell you what this formula is for me, past and present, here in a second. But you write down what's happening in the world right now that breaks your heart, that you know that you've probably been called to make a difference in that area and in your community, in the world, right? So here's our formula. Your superpower plus how you are thought of plus what breaks your heart. That is your purpose. So what does that look like for me? I'm gonna give you my formula, how that plays out. My superpower, I am using leadership and the ability to inspire to foster generosity. That's what I want to be thought of. How I want to be remembered is generosity as it pertains right now to helping first responders in COVID-19, our doctors, our nurses, and the people on the front line. Now, my purpose for 5 years before this was I was using my leadership to inspire generosity in my community to fund music education for children in need in my school district. That will continue, but for right now, I'm pivoting because there's an essential need that the purpose of my life and business fulfill for right now.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens, remember, after that is you have to marry your purpose with action before you get profit, and therefore before you can spin it back around to giving. So what does action look like? All right, so let's go back. I think I said early in the call that March, April, and May for our team, we've been able, thankfully, through team cohesion, to hold together about $18 million in real estate sales. We've got, I believe, 9 families who will be closing in May with us, which I'm astounded by our team, and I can't fill their buckets enough with how they've done that.
Now, let me ask you, was that easy to do, or was that quite a bit of creative work? I'm sure there are lots of people that their initial reaction was to pull out or cancel a deal.
Well, I will tell you that the first month, we just dove into phone calls with our clients, and we were making care calls to our clients, our active clients, where before maybe we called them once or twice a week, then it turned into just about every day. Because again, every day felt like a week and every week felt like a year.
And this year is going to feel like a decade, I'm guessing.
That's right. That's right. So that was the real estate action. And then we married that action to the first responders efforts. And I'll never forget one of my Zoom huddle calls. My family had been helping to assemble and distribute face shields to doctors and nurses. And my husband and I made a personal delivery to a hospital, to a doctor who was in our database. And we didn't even know he was in our database until we sent out a mass text to our whole database and said, we want to give back to first responders with gift cards at local small businesses. Who should we be giving them to? And a doctor in our database raised his hand and said, I guess me. That created a dialogue where I figured out he had a team of 40 at a local hospital that he was leading in the COVID ICU. We go to deliver them 100 face shields and a meal on Easter Sunday. And I go back Monday morning to my Zoom huddle with my team. And I said, from here on out, our action is all about face shields. It's the only thing that feels right now. We're going to make our care calls. We're going to take care of our clients. And we're going to do everything we can to help distribute these face shields. Now, I'm not in charge of the face shields. A local teacher is leading that, and we're supporting him.
Nice.
But on that Zoom, I said to the team, I said, who's willing to partner and give your gifts, your superpowers, to the face shield effort right now? 2 amazing agents on our team said, I'll help with logistics. Other agents said, I'll help with the delivery of things. And then next thing I knew, the whole team, of course, the whole team was like, yes, we're all in.
Awesome.
At that point, the organization that we were supporting had distributed, we were on a mission to distribute like 3,000 or 4,000 face shields within the next 2 weeks, right? Well, as of yesterday, this little engine that is now our team, our market center, and about 200 volunteers in our community.
Wow.
We've distributed over 17,000 face shields.
Wow, that's awesome.
Since all of this started. And I can't claim any credit. Like we're we're just like little parts of the engine that could. And we're so grateful to be serving and helping and putting our action behind making a difference in the community. And you know what happens is when you tell the story of how you're putting people first in your community and you're helping people meet their essential real estate needs, you're gaining mind share. And when you gain mind share, when somebody needs then your services, it will then become market share. And I've heard Jason Abrams say that on a couple of Zooms lately, and I love it. And I told him this morning on a call, I was like, I love mind share to market share. And
they've been saying mind share today equals market share tomorrow.
That's right. And I will say we went for over a month without a single listing inquiry, right? We were all still unsure, and everybody was trying to make sure we were safe, and understandably so. And then all of a sudden last week, I had 6 Zoom listing appointments.
Wow.
Because that mind share is now going to turn into the market share. And that's what leads to the profit for the team and our ability to continue to give back.
Awesome. Now, speaking of giving back, we've got something going on next week. What is it? It's out to my tongue. Red Day.
Right? So it's funny you say Red Day. We've been calling it Red Month.
True that.
Because our market center about a month ago, we came together as a committee and we had 3 real desires for our frontline responders. We wanted to do the face shields, we wanted to do the actual hand-sewn masks, and we wanted to do handwritten notes of encouragement to doctors and nurses. So we've got heads of those 3 projects within our market center, and then subcommittees and volunteers on all 3 of those projects. And Red Day itself is probably going to be like a Zoom celebration where we update each other on, hopefully we will have helped distribute 20,000 face shields by then. Hopefully it'll be, 500 masks and 500 notes of encouragement. And so yeah, Red Day, Red Month, Red Season, like we're not stopping. We're just doing it until we have literally flattened the curve and know that we've done our part to slow this down.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So talk a little more, talk a little bit, and then we'll probably, wrap it up for some questions here too in a few minutes. Historically, you've had a giving ability through your website. Are you still doing that, or are you really just driving everything to the first responders? And do you want to talk at all about how people can give and some of the techniques?
Yeah. I'd be happy to. So part of our model, our give model, imagine a triangle, just like leads, listings, and leverage, right? The triangle for how we run our business is that we want everything to be generosity based. So all of the marketing that we do, every marketing dollar has to go towards a community effort, charity, event, small business now, right? Like everything goes in that direction. Then what broke my heart for years and years, like I mentioned before, was music education inequalities within our school district. And so I established the Vanessa Pollock Music Initiative 5.5 years ago, and we fundraised for that. We have had big concerts for that over the years. I don't know what that looks like yet this year, and we will figure that out. But the third part of the triangle is this idea that it's so important that we honor generosity in our clients. And one of my, part of my purpose is to inspire generosity in others. And what I know from research now is that generosity is contagious, and it makes you feel good. It sets off all kinds of chemicals in your brain. You feel good, the person you gave to feels good, and the people who observe the generosity feel good. But the other thing that is so fascinating to me is the children who have a generous role model who talks about generosity are far more likely to grow up and serve and be generous in their community as well. So when we first started thinking about giving and how could we plant seeds of generosity, not only in our immediate sphere, but also in the children that we're serving, we thought, okay, here's what we'll do. let's donate to the charity of our client's choice.
Yes.
I want to show them that what they're passionate about matters to me. But how I'm going to do that is I'm going to tell my clients, you want to donate to the charity of your choice upon closing, but we want you to make that decision as a family. So please go home and have a family conversation about what charity you're most passionate about, what breaks your heart, because that's where we want to give back and we want to make a difference when your home sale is complete. So we get to plant that conversation into a family. And look, people are probably already talking about it already, but it gives them one more opportunity to do it. And maybe if they haven't had that conversation with kids in the past, it is the first time that they get to talk about generosity in that way. Well, when we started doing that, then we realized that a lot of our clients said, we don't know where to start. We don't know what charity to pick. So it was at that point, years ago, I launched closingforacause.org. And it is a free website for all of you to use. And I don't make a dime off of it, so don't worry about that. But closingforacause.org is a website that you can point your clients to. And you can say, hey, look at this menu or short list of charities to choose from. If one of those resonates with you, you can click on it, fill out the form, and then I'll get the notification and I can fund that donation upon closing. Oh gosh, you're bringing it up.
Yep,
You're the best.
feel free to keep going. I just wanted for them to see what it looks like. So this is the website that you created. You've already pre-connected it to a lot of the most popular causes, right?
Absolutely, because I wanted to inspire thinking in people. And then if you stop right there and go back up just a bit, it says, want your agent to donate to a local cause.
Yep.
If they wanted you to donate to their school's PTA or
Local
to a
food
local
shelter.
charity like Mend or Isaiah House or something like that, they can put all that information in. Now, Michael, let's be real. This is a leverage point. Look, they have to fill it all out.
Yeah.
They have to give us all the information so that I or my admin don't have to go looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it really streamlines the process for us. And it's just a great touch. So once clients are under contract with us, of course, we tell them.
So exactly how did you come across Give a Goat?
Can I tell you? I was at a MAP Spring Mastermind in Vegas 4 years ago, and I was talking about closing for a cause. I had not launched the website yet, but I was saying that we make a donation to clients' charities at closing. And this man came up to me afterwards, and he was like, I have to know you. I feel like we are kindred spirits. And I said, okay, who are you? And he introduced himself, and his name is Scott Piniella. And Scott is a Keller Williams agent who launched Give a Goat because he has adopted children from Uganda, and the need there is what broke his heart, and he took action and started that charity. And I love helping our other Keller Williams agents who are connecting generosity to their world and their business to promote that. So I've had Give a Goat on there for a long time because I'm a huge fan of the Pinellas.
Awesome. We got some questions coming in, so let me ask you a few questions. This is from Amanda. I'm sure you know Amanda Abdel Saeed.
She's she's my girl. I love that woman.
Actually, can you unmute Amanda? Do you want to ask your question live? Emily, can you unmute Amanda?
Hello, my friend.
Lots of kisses. So I absolutely love everything that you do, and I've been watching all of your podcasts and interviews that you've been having, so they've all been amazing. And I actually started sending Closing for a Cause to my clients after closing, saying, hey, instead of a closing gift, what I'd like to do is inspire generosity and donate to a cause that's important to you. Here's the link. But I don't really I haven't really found anyone jumping into it or being excited about it. And how do you get them to go for it?
Thank you for asking. Here's the thing. It's our job to plant the seed.
Okay.
They're not always going to respond, right? They often, it takes them a lot of reminders. And Terry on our team can tell you, she sends the link once we're under contract. She sends it again later in the process. Then we send it again after closing. Sometimes they never respond. And that's okay. I know I did my part, right?
Sure.
And then I take what I would have given to their charity and I dump it into my music initiative.
Right.
Right? And so again, if my purpose is to inspire generosity, I know that I've got them thinking. Whether or not they choose to act on it is outside of my control.
I think part of it, and I know you're passionate, man. I know you're passionate. Part of it is the education piece. You know, I listened to Smart Parents, Smart Kids a few years ago, and started teaching my kids the save, spend, give, invest concepts. And even if they don't take that next step of putting a donation in, they're learning something by just teaching their kids that donation is good. So
That's right.
I think it starts with the seed.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And what I will say, you guys, this is a secret. I'm a little more passionate about the giving model than I am about actually selling real estate. But it's the give model that fuels me to go sell real estate.
Yeah.
Real estate is the vehicle that allows me to go teach and inspire on generosity. And it funds my ability to give back. And yet, here's what I know from experience. When you go into a listing presentation and they can sense that you're more passionate about generosity than you are about selling their house, you've just killed the appointment.
Yeah.
So I don't even talk about it in the listing appointment. It is in the digital pre-listing marketing material that gets sent to them ahead of time.
Okay.
They know that it's what we stand for and what we want to be known for. But I do not talk about it in the listing appointment because in the seller's mind, they only want to talk what's in it for them and how are you going to get my house sold.
So you bring that into the thing later. Awesome.
It's definitely later.
Awesome. Lou Panaccio asked the question earlier, have you done Facebook Live open houses? If the owners allow you in, and what does that look like?
So we're doing Zoom public open houses. And the reason why is, to me, the goal is not the open house itself. The goal is capturing information for potential families that we can serve in the near term and building our pipeline of business. So we have found that if we market a Zoom public open house and we direct all of our marketing to a Google form where it's their name, their contact information, their time frame for buying, are they pre-approved or not, do they have an agent, what's the agent's number, and what's our best way to contact you. If we can get that, then we're able to pick up the phone or send an email and say, we're so excited to see you at the open house on Saturday. Here's the Zoom link. But it's more important to me to be able to start to get into relationship with those people than just open it up to all of social media. Does that make sense?
So Vanessa, are you there doing it, or is the owner doing it for you?
Currently, we have been doing them the last 2 weekends. I hosted at 26 Essex Road. Then this last Saturday, Denise Payne hosted from a vacant house. This weekend, Kevin Kern will be hosting from a new listing that is coming soon this week, and it's also a vacant house. So no, we're going in and we're doing it. We have an agent in the house, and then we have another agent that's manning the chat, kind of like Michael is doing right now, and chiming in and answering questions as the agent walks through the house.
And again, with Zoom, you can set up a Zoom link where they got to register for it. So you set up that, you connect it to some of your social media marketing. I know Lim's had as many as 26 people registered for her Zoom open houses.
Yeah.
So you kind of funnel them that way. They register, you capture the information, and then you're good to go.
Yep.
I see Mary Beth Grasso asking, can we use some of your info? I mean, I guess your Care, Serve, Give, we can connect, like Amanda has done, we can connect our clients right to that website.
You mean closing for a cause?
Closing for a cause, yes.
Absolutely. That is my gift to our industry and my hope that, look, here's my big dream. Gary has always taught us to think, give $1 million, right?
Yep.
And when I started thinking that way, I was immediately overwhelmed. Like, I can't give $1 million. I don't want to grow a team that big. That's so many people. And I love humanity except for all the people, right? So my whole idea was then, how do we as an organization and as an industry give $1 million? Well, if we gave as a company $25 for every single closing, we as Keller Williams would donate over $25 million a year to charities. Now, you take that, and I'm not letting you off the hook when it comes to KW Cares. You got to match that with KW Cares, $25 to KW Cares as well. So then you've got $25 million a year to KW Cares. That's $50 million a year that our KW family would be pumping back into the world. That is almost give $1 million every week.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's a no-brainer that our entire industry should be. Laura, thank you for the thumbs up. I see you. I love you, lady. I'm blowing you kisses too. To me, that's how we move the needle as an industry. We provide the greatest service in the industry where we put people first, and we give $1 million every single week. Like, we can do that. We could easily do that together.
Awesome. Awesome. You are awesome. You're amazing.
You're awesome.
Thank you so much for what you've done, what you've created, what you give. I so appreciate it. Any final thoughts you want to leave our group with? I normally keep these about 30 to 45 minutes. Any final thoughts you want to leave with our folks with?
I think just be kind to yourself right now. We are all navigating such uncharted territory, right? And I've got 3 children, and they are 9, 11, and 16. And right now we are living a mashup of our life right now, right? We've got school and family and work and clients. I'm in my bedroom right now because I've got renovations going on in my home office.
I noticed that interesting movable wall behind you. I'm guessing that's hiding
something. Screen, yes, I'm hiding a lot of things. But my point is this. I want to tell you, we're all very results oriented in this industry, right? But be kind with yourself right now. Our focus has to be on activity that is life-giving and helps us maintain mental health and physical health right now. I told my 16-year-old last week, I said, look, I had really high expectations for your sophomore year in high school, and you were crushing it, and now everything has changed. I want to tell you what the new expectations are from your dad and I. I expect you to eat well, to sleep well, to get fresh air, and to have good family time. I'm going to cry. That's all that matters to me right now. And we have to do that for ourselves as well, right? So dig deep and figure out what that higher purpose is, but also take care of yourself, right? Because guys, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We're going to be doing this for the next 6 to 12 months. We're in the middle of it. So find ways to take care of yourself and make this a sustainable marathon where you wake up in the morning and you're excited to go to work and you're excited that you get to give back and make a difference. But be kind to yourself and give lots of hugs to everybody you live with, because you can't give them to anybody else. And Mo says 7 hugs a day. So go hug your people all day long.
So, and just so you know, Vanessa, because we believe in the 7 hugs, kisses, or laughs a day, one of the things we do at the end of every one of these 2 o'clock videos, which is now 1 o'clock, remember everybody, we're going to 1 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we always play a funny video clip.